Welcome to GA235 Corporate Identity. This is week 4, and this week we are going to talk about On Designing. The learning objectives: learn to build a successful creative brief to aid in the design process. The key words and concepts that we will be learning: design sense, design sensibility, relevance and resonance, look and feel, consonance, typography, brand revitalization, brand merger, budget, and deliverables. The designer's goal. Your goal is to conceive and design a brand concept that is based on strategy, is relevant and fresh, and consistent with brand voice, and that can be the practicality that's implemented within the budget limitations. Sometimes you're a lone designer dealing with the company, but for larger projects, you'll deal with a team. It's a good way to brainstorm various different types of ideas and try to come up with, your best top, potentially 3 to 10 ideas. I guess it ranges, and then be able to narrow them down maybe to more of a 3 different ideas, so that you could try to really get a good idea and concept out of it to be able to present back to your client. So those processes change and depends on, the size of your design firm, and then on top of that, each particular design firm has kind of their own specifics that they use. However, there's a lot of general types of things that are consistent from one firm to another. When we talk about sense and sensibility, good design sense is the exercise of good judgment. It entails the ability to use design training such as conceptual, visual, and technical types of skills, the power to think critically, understanding how form and function work cooperatively, and utilizing design principles for successful visual communications. We could break down this ad here onto the right when it's a phone ad for some sort of Palm phone, I guess it is. It could be kind of old, could be a product that's not with us anymore. But anyways, the overall goal here is to show order, to show organization of your life. As you could kind of see down in the bottom next to the logo, it says organize your life with Palm. Okay, that's the big key term, the whole kind of tagline that the brand essence in a way that's formed around it. So as a designer, the goal is to try to visually portray that in an attractive way that's going to stand out among other kinds of designs. I think it's pretty good in terms of standing out. If you're flipping through a magazine, you see all these ads, you see one of these that has one page that's pretty chaotic, and the other one that has order, and it says order and chaos right at the top. In terms of design principles, that's got some good balance. It's kind of a 2-column kind of layout. And on the left side again, we see all this kind of writing all over a hand and arm, and it's even against a pretty busy backdrop, as you could kind of see with the cars that are all clustered together there. Like that's chaotic as well. So not only is the hand chaotic, but it's set in a chaotic type of environment, that's just got a lot visually going on. But then on the other side, we just see the phone, and against a completely blank environment that's nice and clean and white, and it shows just a picture of the phone. And on the graphics, kind of tough to tell what they are, but they look visually aligning in a fairly organized way, right? So that creates some good contrast. It really helps get the message across with simple kind of visuals and not a lot of text for people to have to read, right? I mean, if we look at that, we have chaos and order at the top, then we have the tagline, organize your life, and then maybe a little bit of text onto the bottom left that kind of introduces the colors. But it's got a good balance of everything, and you're able to get that point across to your audience in a short amount of time. It doesn't take a lot of thought. So good sense and sensibility for this ad. Good design sensibility includes power to think creatively and imaginatively, ability to think of appropriate, fresh, and effective concepts, qualities of flexibility, range, and sensitivity, and includes one's own personal vision. So we see the ad for Target here, and this is a pretty creative type of way of looking at the logo and saying, how can we implement that logo as kind of like our main part of our ad campaign. And Target sells a lot of different types of products, and I think this is a good example of picking different products that kind of have a look of the logo, as someone just looking at this, they think, oh, this is pretty creative. It's showing the Target logo, but showing how many different things make up of it, and it's just is a good way of showcasing what that company does and how creative they are as well. Good design judgment and sensibility should be employed together. Here's an example: the blue campaign from Sagmeister. We all know Stefan Sagmeister is probably one of the most famous graphic designers that are out there, and the company is called Blue. However, as we look to the next slide here, we'll notice that the color blue does not exist at all. So Sense and Sensibility, it's taken a bit of a risk here, and kind of trying to redefine what we know as blue with these strong contrasting colors of blue, which is the opposite of blue, which is orange, right? When we talk about our color wheel, we look at it and it's complementary color, included black as well. Notice the good consistency from one piece to another. And good design judgment and sensibility should be employed together. Again, taking that same kind of concept and creating other types of imagery that could be associated with it as they incorporate the black and white photography. Makes it kind of look more of like an art piece in a sense, more than an advertisement in a way. So, using strategy to design. Use the strategy as your platform for designing. A design brief, creative brief, objectives list, strategy statement, or positioning statement is always something helpful, and we've talked about this before, where you always want to have a meeting initially with your client to be able to find out what their needs are and get as much information as you can from them so that you can try to give them what they're looking for in terms of a new brand that can help, make their company even better. So this is a general breakdown of questions or information that's needed in order for you to be able to do that. And again, like I've said before, that these could be modified per project, and other questions could be asked that are more particular to the project and such. But usually going into it, you would like to have at least a general list of questions that you could try to compile information from. So here's 9 steps to create a killer brief for your graphic designer. Number 1, intro. Describe your business in one short paragraph. And what is your elevator story or elevator pitch? A quick kind of overview of your business that you. Number 2, feelings. What feelings do you want your brand to evoke? Do you want them to evoke happiness? Do you want them to evoke laughter, funny, refreshing, things like that. 3, look and feel. What is the aesthetics that you are looking for? The overall looks. This is where you can start to talk about, font and colors and things like that. Number 4, brand positioning. Are you a target or a channel? Number 5, likes and dislikes. What brand do you like and dislike and why? Number 6, competitors. Who are your closest competitors? What makes you different and unique from them? And 7, needs. What exactly do you need at the end of the project? Do you need a logo? Do you need stationery? Do you need television advertisement spot? Do you need a web banner, and how many? Things like that. 8, budget. How much money do you have to spend for this project? Because you're going to be limited depending on what you want in the end, depending on how much you can pay. And number 9, timeline. It's always important to find out when this whole project needs to be completed by.